Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I'm an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. Before the next chapter of the Bold and the Beautiful unfolds, an emotional storm begins to gather over the lives of the people who thought they had finally found solid ground. The preview for the week of July 13th through July 17th promises a whirlwind of heartbreaking decisions, impossible choices, shattered dreams, and unexpected temptations that threaten to change everything. Old wounds that never truly healed are about to be ripped open once again, while new heartbreak quietly waits around the corner for those daring enough to hope for a brighter future. Every conversation carries hidden consequences, every embrace masks uncertainty, and every decision pushes these families closer to a crossroads from which there may be no easy return. As emotions collide and loyalties are tested, the people of Los Angeles find themselves standing on the edge of life-changing moments that could permanently reshape the bonds they have fought so hard to protect. The emotional journey begins inside John Finnegan's office, where an unexpected moment unfolds between him and Sheila Carter. For so many years, Sheila has represented fear, betrayal, and chaos to almost everyone connected to the Forrester family. Yet in this quiet moment, the atmosphere feels remarkably different. Instead of anger or confrontation, there is an emotional embrace that speaks volumes about how far Finn believes Sheila has come. The hug is filled with complicated emotions that neither of them can fully express, reflecting years of longing, regret, and the desperate hope that redemption might still be possible. Sheila clings to the belief that her son finally sees the changes she has tried to make in her life, and for the first time in a long while, she dares to imagine a future where she is no longer viewed as an outcast. With hope shining through her cautious optimism, she places her faith in Finn, believing he may finally become the bridge that reconnects her with the family she has always wanted, but has never truly been allowed to join. That fragile hope follows Finn long after Sheila leaves his office, weighing heavily on his heart as he prepares for a conversation he knows will not be easy. When he finally sits down with Steffy Finnegan, the atmosphere shifts almost immediately from calm to uneasy anticipation. Finn honestly admits that Sheila came to visit him, and the revelation instantly changes the expression on Steffy's face. Alarm replaces comfort as she immediately demands to know what Sheila wanted, her protective instincts flaring without hesitation. Finn carefully explains how the meeting unfolded, describing the conversation and the emotions behind it before finally revealing the proposal that has been growing inside his heart. Believing that Sheila has genuinely changed, Finn quietly suggests that perhaps the time has finally come to consider allowing her into their lives. The words hang heavily in the air, carrying the weight of years of conflict and pain, as if both of them already know the devastating argument that is about to follow. Steffy's reaction arrives exactly as expected, yet it is no less heartbreaking because of its predictability. Every painful memory Sheila created comes rushing back into her mind, reminding her why she has fought so fiercely to keep that dangerous chapter of her life firmly closed. She cannot understand how Finn could even entertain the possibility after everything they have survived together, and her disappointment quickly transforms into fierce frustration. This is not a disagreement they are having for the first time, but another painful repetition of an argument that has threatened the foundation of their marriage again and again. Steffy believed Finn finally understood the boundaries she had established, believing they had reached an understanding that would never again be questioned. Instead, she finds herself repeating the same heartbreaking ultimatum with even greater determination than before. In Steffy's eyes, there is no compromise left to make. Finn must ultimately choose between the woman he married and the biological mother who has spent years bringing devastation into their lives. As far as Steffy is concerned, Sheila will never be allowed anywhere near her, their children, or the peaceful future she has fought so hard to build. While one relationship teeters dangerously close to another emotional breaking point, a very different kind of tension quietly begins to unfold along the beautiful coastline at Will Spencer's beach house. The peaceful setting offers little protection from the emotional complications waiting inside, as Melissa Dillon arrives to check on Will following the painful situation involving Electra Forrester. Her concern appears sincere, and she offers comfort during a time when his emotions remain deeply unsettled. But there is something unmistakably flirtatious beneath every smile and every carefully chosen word. Their conversation soon drifts toward memories of the time Dillon once lived on the property, bringing back familiar feelings and opening the door to intriguing possibilities about the future. Then, with playful confidence and unmistakable seduction, Dillon lets her intentions become crystal clear. She teasingly remarks that if she ever returned to live there again, she certainly would not be staying above the garage. The flirtation hangs in the air between them, inviting Will to imagine a future that Dillon clearly hopes they might eventually share. Despite Dillon's growing confidence and her obvious attempts to pull him closer emotionally, Will's heart refuses to move on quite so easily. His thoughts remain firmly fixed on Electra Forrester, and every hopeful glance toward the future is clouded by regret over what could have been. He continues longing for things to somehow work out between them, wishing circumstances were different, and believing there may still be something worth fighting for. Dillon senses the emotional wall standing between them, yet she shows no signs of giving up her pursuit. Instead, she seems determined to slowly chip away at Will's lingering feelings, hoping that time, patience, and her growing presence in his life will eventually help him forget Electra altogether. What begins as comfort may soon evolve into something much more complicated, leaving Will caught between the memories of a love he cannot release and the possibility of a new connection that refuses to stop knocking at his heart. Meanwhile, far from the emotional conflicts of romance and family loyalty, another devastating storyline quietly unfolds inside Lee Finnegan's hospital office. The sterile walls cannot soften the emotional weight of the heartbreaking news about to be delivered as Daphne Rose Walton sits waiting alongside Steffy. The room feels unusually heavy, filled with anxious silence before Lee finally gathers the strength to speak the words neither woman wants to hear. With compassion written across her face, Lee gently reveals that the results concerning Daphne's attempt to become pregnant are not what anyone had hoped for. The devastating announcement lands with crushing force, instantly replacing hope with heartbreak, and leaving Daphne struggling to process a future that suddenly feels far more uncertain than she ever imagined. Steffy remains beside her, offering quiet support as the painful reality begins to sink in. According to the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Daphne now faces a difficult infertility journey, opening the door to an emotional chapter filled with difficult choices, painful setbacks, and the strength it will take to face whatever challenges lie ahead. As one dream begins to slip away, another powerful story of resilience, heartbreak, and hope is only just beginning, promising an unforgettable week filled with emotional twists that will leave viewers anxiously waiting to see what happens next. The heartbreaking news continues to echo through Lee Finnegan's office long after the words leave her lips, filling the room with a silence that feels almost impossible to bear. Daphne Rose Walton sits frozen, her expression slowly shifting from hopeful anticipation to quiet devastation as the reality of the diagnosis begins to settle over her. Every dream she had carefully built around the possibility of becoming a mother suddenly feels fragile, as though the future she had imagined is slipping through her fingers before she has the chance to hold on to it. Lee's voice remains calm and compassionate as she explains the difficult situation, choosing her words with the care of someone who understands that medicine can heal many things, but it cannot erase emotional pain. Beside Daphne, Steffy Forrester Finnegan offers steady support without trying to force away the grief, recognizing that some heartbreak simply has to be felt before healing can begin. The quiet strength of that moment, reminds everyone that even the strongest people can find themselves overwhelmed when life delivers news they never expected to hear. As Daphne struggles to process the devastating update, countless questions begin racing through her mind about the future she had envisioned. The possibility of infertility forces her to confront fears she never imagined facing, leaving her wondering whether motherhood will become a far more difficult journey than she ever anticipated. Hope has not disappeared entirely, but it is now mixed with uncertainty, disappointment, and the painful realization that some dreams require far more strength and patience than anyone could prepare for. Lee remains determined to guide Daphne through whatever comes next, offering not only medical expertise, but genuine compassion during one of the most vulnerable moments of her life. Steffy's presence becomes equally important, silently reminding Daphne that she does not have to face this emotional battle alone. Together, the three women share a deeply human moment that rises above the hospital setting, becoming a powerful reminder that courage is often found not in avoiding heartbreak, but in finding the strength to keep moving despite it. Elsewhere, the emotional storm surrounding Finn and Steffy continues to build with frightening intensity, threatening the peace they have fought so hard to restore. Finn cannot ignore the compassion he feels for Sheila Carter, believing with all his heart that his biological mother has genuinely changed and deserves the opportunity to prove herself. He understands the unimaginable pain Sheila has caused, yet he also believes redemption should not be impossible for someone who sincerely wants to become better. Steffy, however, sees the situation through an entirely different lens, one shaped by years of fear, trauma, and survival. Every frightening memory Sheila created remains painfully vivid, making the very idea of welcoming her into their lives feel less like forgiveness and more like inviting danger back into their home. The divide between husband and wife grows deeper with every conversation, leaving them standing on opposite sides of an emotional battlefield where love alone may not be enough to bridge the distance between them. Steffy's unwavering ultimatum hangs over their marriage like an approaching storm cloud that refuses to pass. She believes she has already sacrificed enough to protect her family and refuses to gamble with her children's safety, no matter how strongly Finn believes Sheila deserves another chance. Finn, meanwhile, finds himself trapped between two people he loves for entirely different reasons, forced to make a choice that feels impossible, regardless of which path he ultimately follows. One decision could preserve his marriage while permanently closing the door on his relationship with Sheila, while the other could satisfy his conscience but risk destroying the life he has built with Steffy. The emotional pressure continues to mount as neither side shows any willingness to compromise, making every conversation feel heavier than the last. Their love remains real, but so do the painful truths standing between them. Unless one of them finds a new perspective, the conflict surrounding Sheila could become the greatest test their marriage has ever faced. At the beach house, a quieter but equally meaningful emotional struggle unfolds as Will Spencer wrestles with his own conflicted heart. Dylan's playful confidence and undeniable attraction create moments of warmth that briefly distract him from the sadness he continues carrying inside. Her teasing comment about returning to the property without living above the garage leaves little doubt that she sees real romantic potential between them, and she seems increasingly determined to let him know exactly how she feels. Yet, even as she moves closer, Will's thoughts repeatedly drift back to Electra Forrester, whose absence continues to leave an unmistakable emptiness in his life. His heart refuses to let go of the relationship he wishes could have turned out differently, making it difficult for him to fully embrace the new possibilities standing right in front of him. Dylan senses his hesitation, but rather than walking away, she appears ready to patiently wait for the moment when his heart might finally become available. That emotional triangle promises to become even more complicated as the days unfold, because feelings rarely disappear simply because someone wishes they would. Will's lingering love for Electra continues to shape every decision he makes, while Dylan quietly positions herself as the person willing to help him heal from the pain he cannot seem to escape. Whether her kindness is enough to eventually win his heart remains uncertain, but her determination suggests she has no intention of giving up easily. Sometimes love arrives when people least expect it, while other times it must compete against memories that refuse to fade. As Will stands between the comfort of the past and the possibility of a new beginning, every interaction becomes another step toward a future that could change his life forever. With emotions running high across every corner of Los Angeles, the week ahead promises powerful confrontations, heartbreaking revelations, unexpected temptations, and life-changing choices that will leave lasting consequences for everyone involved.